I know as wholesalers, you often struggle with getting those brands and especially getting that coveted exclusivity. And for you to bring that kind of value to the table for them, to basically be like a brand manager for them on Amazon, you're going to be unstoppable. Nobody's going to tell you no. So it's worth taking the time to listen and learn.
Hello and welcome to the Wholesale Made Easy podcast, where we believe selling on Amazon shouldn't be hard, and we're going to prove it. My name is Dylan Carter, and I'm one of the co-founders at Vendrive, a tool that helps Amazon wholesale sellers streamline their businesses, stay organized, and land more profitable accounts. I'm sitting down with other successful wholesale sellers, and together we're sharing lessons learned and what it really takes to succeed with wholesale. Today I sat down with Amy Weiss of AmazingAtHome.com to talk about optimizing listings as a competitive advantage for landing new wholesale accounts. Amazon recently made some changes, and Amy and I dive deep into the exact process of optimizing any listing with ease. It's simple, easy to follow, and most importantly, it's effective. All right, I'm here with Amy Weiss, and today we're going to talk about listing optimization and figuring out what's changed, what you need to start doing, because there's a few major hurdles. So Amy, thank you for taking the time to sit down and go over this with us.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been selling not only on Amazon, but e-commerce, Shopify, drop shipping, all that good stuff for like 10 years, right?
Yeah. So initially, I just started out on Amazon and eBay as a hobby. When I was in the military, I would just sell, and when I was in college, I would just sell, textbooks, whatever I could really get my hands on. And I would do merchant fulfilled and whatever I could do. And I'd make my own packaging out of cardboard boxes and just whatever, it was just like a little side hobby. And so luckily, when I started my brand all these years later, I had all these accounts in good standing, and it made it pretty easy to jump right in.
That's awesome. So you've been able to see, I'm sure, a lot of changes over those 10 years.
Yeah.
Especially the early days of Amazon, where it really was what I consider like the Wild West. I mean, it was just anything kind of goes, tons of black hat tactics going around, but now it's starting to mature a little bit. Amazon's making some changes that we all need to be aware of, which is really the focal point today. So what's been the major changes as far as Amazon goes when it comes to optimizing listings?
Well, I know I've been a copywriter for about 2 years now for Amazon, and we used to always focus on really filling up the bullets. You get 500 characters in each of your bullets, you get 2,000 characters in your description, and you get 200 characters in your title. So obviously, since the title and the bullets were the largest ranking factors, we copywriters would fit as many of those keyword phrases into the bullets as possible. But that made for, in most cases, pretty long bullets, right? And we would focus on trying to make them as readable as possible. But with this latest update in October 2018, the big change was that Amazon now limits indexing. So that means when you're listing indexes, that's when a customer searches for a keyword, your listing shows up for that keyword. So indexing is really important. And Amazon, with the latest update, is only indexing the first 1,000 bytes of your bullets. So a byte is equal to 1 character. Unless it's a symbol, then a symbol is equal to 2 bytes. So that can get kind of confusing, but the best rule of thumb is to limit your bullets to 200 characters each. Because if you have 10 symbols like periods, colons, dashes within each bullet, that leaves you 190 characters left in the bytes for the indexing.
Which really isn't a lot when you think about it. It's funny, whenever I land on a listing that I'm looking at and the description is completely packed out, I'm like, okay, it's been optimized. But now it's shifting from packing it out, like you said, what is considered keyword stuffing, really, down to a more simple, more effective kind of route that Amazon's trying to go, where you're really having to think about what are we trying to rank for? How do we lay this out? So how do you approach that now with these changes?
So what I try to do, I follow a listing optimization strategy for my bullets that lead to the most conversion. So I make sure my listings are optimized for mobile, but also optimized for customers to click that add to cart button. So what I do is I have a template that I follow. The first bullet for me is always the attention grabber. Why should you buy this product bullet? So I fit the most important keywords. It's important to repeat keyword phrases that you're trying to rank for. So I fit the most important aspects along with the most important keywords into that first bullet, because most customers only look at your photos and your title and they read very little of the bullets or listing description. So you really need to make sure that in that first bullet you're getting out of there. So anyway, the first bullet's always, why do you need this product in your life? The second bullet, I always give a what's included. So what are you getting with this product? Yes, you can look at the photo and see what you're getting, but this is your chance to convince the customer, hey, you're getting all this value out of this product. And then the third bullet is always, always, always. And I almost always have to correct this in people's listings, but your third bullet should always be your guarantee bullet. Whether it's 100% satisfaction guaranteed, whatever it is, your guarantee should be your third bullet. Why? Because only the top 3 bullets show up on mobile, and most US customers shop on mobile. So don't you want them to see that you're offering this guarantee and they're buying your product risk-free? So bullets 4 and 5 are for readers. They're for the people that are looking for another reason to buy your product, because they have to click the little button on desktop and on mobile to actually see your last 2 bullets in many cases. So the last 2 bullets, I try to appeal to readers. So I usually use bullet 4 as a multiple uses or extra benefit bullet. So this is where you can say, well, hey, you can use this this baby feeding set to, freeze your home cooked goods as well, something like that, right? And then bullet 5, I always do a gift bullet. So tons of people are always searching for gifts. So this is where you want to fill out those keyword phrases for gifts. So best gift for teachers, best gift for fathers, for men, for women, whatever. But I always use bullet 5 as my gift bullet. So that's kind of my strategy. And again, we want to make sure we keep it under 200 characters per bullet. And you can always use a byte counter and just copy and paste all 5 of your bullets into a byte counter online. There's tons of free ones. And then you can make sure that you are getting the right amount of bytes.
So you're trying to find a good balance of 1, ranking, and 2, actually selling, right? So because the one that came up really to me was the guarantee. So doing a wholesale specifically, it's hard to really give that guarantee. So what could we use how can we exchange that for, if we're going to optimize this listing, but we're not the only seller, it's not private label, what could we put in that third position that would make sense?
So that's a really great question. I have a lot of clients that don't have guarantees. They're like, oh, I don't want to, mess with this, right? But the great thing is Amazon Prime has their own guarantees. So what I usually do, my go-to statement for people that aren't sure about the guarantee or what to put there, I just put backed by Amazon A to Z guarantee with Prime available.
Oh, that's perfect. And it sounds so great, too, the way they word it.
And Amazon is actually a really big keyword that comes up when I use my listing software. It comes up as a big keyword in many listings to use. So it's a perfect place to fit that in.
Oh, that's great. Anytime I search for anything that's somewhat related to a physical product, Amazon's listings are always at the top of Google search.
Yes.
So it makes sense that we can not only index for Amazon, but by default also index on Google and get more of that traffic to come through and increase sales, which is fantastic. How are you approaching titles? Because titles also have changed.
Yes. So titles, many of the categories are still 200 characters, But the biggest change is that Amazon has now limited the titles under certain categories to sometimes like 80 characters. Just it depends on the category. So your best bet to see the latest update is to go into Amazon, the little help window at the upper right corner of Seller Central and type in style guides. And you can view your style guide by category, and it will break down, it'll give you, you can download templates for your category to create listings from spreadsheets, or you can just view how many characters is allowed in your new title, as well as the format of the title that Amazon requests you put it in. So they might say something like brand plus type of product plus number of product, that kind of thing. So you may, when you update your title, if you're looking to update your title, Amazon will often come back with, hey, this isn't in the right format. You need to put it in this format. So I've helped people in the past just kind of fit their current title where they're getting those max keyword searches into Amazon's format so that they're not losing those searches, but they're also still, getting the most out of their title.
And there's a ton of terrible titles that I see on listings like every single day. It's incredibly long. It doesn't really read right. It's an odd format. So and I know there's different kinds of formats that are coming up, like you said, the brand plus product name, quantity, all that good stuff. And so it's good to see those coming through and being enforced, because some of them are it's a good opportunity because it's an easy fix. So if you're looking at a listing you want to optimize, I mean, that's just a very clear, easy thing to do on top of updating the description, the bullet points, and really getting all that ranking appropriately.
Right.
Are you also looking at, I would imagine, not only the amount or quantity of images, but also looking at the type of images? So looking at what is considered lifestyle images.
Oh, Dylan, I'm so glad you brought that up because how many photos have we seen that are terrible too, right? I just want to remind all the sellers out there and encourage you to at least once a week go out there and find your product on Amazon, especially on mobile. Go out there on the Amazon shopping app and find your product on mobile and look at not only your product, but also your competitors. And so this does two things. This allows you to make sure that your product is discoverable, right? That you can find it somewhere, which is kind of important. If you can't find it, neither can the customer. So that's the first thing I do, is make sure I can find my product with regular searches. And then the second thing that I do is I look at that main hero photo and see if that photo is like better than my competitors, if it catches my eye, all of that, and make sure it's looking great, that, it's not skewed, it doesn't look weird. And then with the rest of the photos, you should always have 6 photos in your listing, a minimum of 4, but 6 is the best for ranking. And because customers love photos, as I said, most of the time customers are just looking at the photos. They're not even reading your listing. They're looking at the photos. They're looking at the title. Because that's what shows up on the main page when they're searching. So look through your photos. And what I do, we do photography at Amazing at Home. And what we do is we try to tell the story of the listing in the photos. So what I mean by that is, sellers take the time to write these great listings sometimes. They say, oh, this is the best product. So remember I was talking about my 5 bullets, the why you need this product, what's included, your guarantee, extra uses for the product, and great gift. I do all 5 of those things in photos. So why you need this product. I make an infographic. I show, hey, this product is awesome because, and put text right on the photo and let people kind of see what's so great about the product. And then, the next one, what's included. You always want a description photo showing the size, the measurements of things, what people are getting in the box, and then guarantee. How many listings out there have used, we just talked about how the guarantee bullet converts customers. Well, how many listings out there have you seen where somebody actually has a photo with a guarantee in it? The little guarantee badge, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, or, this is made of stainless steel and, won't break, won't scratch. Have a photo that explains why this customer should buy this and what your guarantee is. And you're going to win every time because, as we know, guarantees risk-free purchases that closes the sale. And then, the gift photos show the product as a gift. A lot of people just seeing that, they're like, oh, yeah, that would make a great gift for my dad or, whatever. But if they can see the product as a gift, put a big old bow on it, it's perfect, right? And then, the multiple uses show, we do like quad photos and we show multiple uses for the product. So at a minimum, my 5 photos cover those things. And I make sure that I have a really great hero photo as well.
It's pretty easy being a wholesale seller to not take ownership of a listing, even though it organically helps you increase sales. I mean, it's a very simple competitive advantage that a lot of sellers just aren't willing to do. They think, well, I just buy the product, I ship it in, it sells, and that's about all I can do. But it doesn't take a lot of time, effort, or even money for that matter to have a little photo shoot. I mean, even you can buy these on Amazon, a little, it's called like a light box. It's super cheap and it's how you get it. I think they're like $20. And it's basically a little setup where you can put the product in and get amazing photos. So if you see that there's only 1, 2, 3 photos of a product and they're all pretty garbage, take some of your own and really own that listing and show some of the lifestyle stuff. If it's a grilling thermometer, take a nice picture of it being used with the grill or next to it. I mean, there's so much you can do with that. And it also helps you build a better relationship with the suppliers and the brands that you're carrying, because you're showing that you're investing more value than simply buying the products into building their brand. And it's a good thing to have on your side than not.
Yeah. So on the note of photos, that's a really great tip, is for people to take their own photos. I don't actually buy a setup from Amazon. I actually bought one, but it didn't really work great for me. What I found works really great is literally to go to the Dollar Tree and buy one of those poster boards in white. And then I go outside on my patio table because the lighting is perfect. I go outside on my patio table and I put the product right on top of that white poster board. You can buy 2 if you need a backdrop. But, you put it right there and you take all of your photos. And then the other thing that's really great is there's tons of free resources to remove the background from photos. So LunaPic is one of my favorites online. It's just a website that allows you, there's a one-click button to remove a background. It's LUNAPIC.com. And then another tip is PowerPoint. PowerPoint you can use if you already have on your PC. You can upload a photo into PowerPoint and just click the remove background button in the photo editing tool. And it's really easy to do, and it makes for great pictures. And then you just right click and save as a photo. And then let's talk about dimensions for a second. On Amazon, in order for photos to load properly, you want to make sure that your photographs are at least 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. That's square. And how you can do this, another free tool online is called Canva, Canva.com. And you can also get the paid subscription, but you can do custom dimensions, 1,000 by 1,000. Upload your own photos, which are the ones you just removed the backgrounds from. And then you can add really great text and download your whole set of photos that you just mess with. So you can add text, you can add like fun little ribbons and stuff to it, like to show it as a gift. But those are my recommendations to make really great photos. Before I got into photography, I was using all of those resources and I also did wholesale sales for a while. And you're so right. Taking the time to improve a listing can really pay dividends, because think about it. You can improve a listing and get 10 times the sales just by optimizing that listing for search and making that product desirable.
And it really doesn't take much time to do all these things we're talking about. I mean, the backdrop that you mentioned, that's like $1. All these free tools. We use Canva at Vendrive. I love Canva. I've been using it since like day one. This tool is amazing. It can do so many cool things. Um, yeah, I didn't even know you could do that with PowerPoint, by the way. That's really cool. So I'm now gonna have to play with that. That's great. Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort, and the value, not only in terms of monetary gain, but like I said, value towards the brand, longevity of a product, it just pays off so easy. It just, yeah, it's incredible how little effort it is, and a lot of sellers just don't want to take that effort, or think it's too cumbersome and too advanced of a thing. Because you hear the word optimize, you're like, oh, that's going to be too much work. I'm good. I need somebody to do that. And for the most part, you can do pretty well just understanding how it works. And then if you really want to get crazy, you can bring somebody in to do that for you.
Exactly. And think about the value that you're bringing. I've gotten exclusivity with a lot of brands to sell their products simply because I understand listing optimization and I understand the importance of photographs and what you should be including in your photographs. And when I call these brands, they listen to what I have to say because I'm able to say, hey, did you know your market is this big? And do you know that your top competitor is selling this many units? And here's the reason why you are not. And, breaking it down to them. And you can really, I know as wholesalers, you often struggle with getting those brands and especially getting that coveted exclusivity. And for you to bring that kind of value to the table for them to basically be like a brand manager for them on Amazon, you're going to be unstoppable. Nobody's going to tell you no. So it's worth taking the time to listen and learn. I have not had a brand hang up on me yet. So that's that's been good. And I don't do wholesale anymore because I have my own brand. But it's just a great skill to have when you're talking now to any brand in your niche or in your field.
Yeah, we teach approaching a supplier initially with a one pager. And that one pager is a highlight of all the value you're going to bring. Here's exactly the keywords we want to test with PPC. Here's exactly the sellers that are below map. Here's exactly how we're going to optimize the listing. Not just, we're going to do this, but here's what we're going to do specifically. And here's why that matters. When you approach a supplier immediately handing over incredible amounts of value, it's an easier conversation and it's an easier account to get. But when you approach them saying, well, I want to give you 30 grand of my money, we assume that's valuable, and transactionally it is, but there's plenty of other people willing to do that in our stead. So when you can have things like this in your arsenal that you do understand, that you can immediately look at a listing, understand the opportunities there, write that out in a clear format and say, hey, brand, I just sent you an email. I know you're not super excited about selling to Amazon third-party sellers, but just take a look real quick while we're on the phone. These are the things that I really want to do. I've already done my research on it. Here's the opportunities that I'll do all this for you, and I'd love to continue the conversation. It's much easier when they open up that email, read it, and go, holy crap. Like, no other seller's done this. All they did was call me and say, I want a wholesale account. There's a completely different shift in perspective for the supplier there. So is there anything that we haven't gone over that you would suggest when it comes to listing optimization?
I think we've pretty much covered it. We covered your bullets. Description is another thing, right? We're not sure with this latest update what's going on with the description, whether or not it would index. But we can talk about indexing for a second. It's important to check whether or not those really important keywords that you're going for and some of the long tail keywords that you're perhaps trying to rank for in the description are indexing for your listing. And you can do this in a couple of ways. You might have, there's a free tool called Sonar that has an index checker. So it's like Sonar US, I believe, is the thing you can Google for it, SONAR. And then, you could plug the ASIN in there and then the keywords that you want to check if you're indexing for, and it'll check it automatically for you for free. The other way you can check it is right in the Amazon search bar. Simply take the ASIN and type it in there along with the word that you want to check that you're indexing for. So if you want to check, beauty lip gloss or something. You type in the ASIN and then the words beauty lip gloss. And if the product pops up in search for that, then you're indexing for it. If it does not pop up, if it says, sorry, nothing found, and a bunch of competitor products pop up, then you're not indexing. So if you're not indexing for a keyword that you want to be indexed for, that's when you can go back in and double check your listing and make sure that, again, it's within the 1,000 bytes of your bullets. It's listed that way in your title, or if it's in your description, maybe you want to move it up. And then the other big change, or the big thing that was unknown before, is that enhanced brand content, which I know some of your brands may have as wholesalers. Enhanced brand content descriptions do not index. So just keep that in mind, that if you're trying to index for certain keywords, you want to keep them in the title and the bullets and double check that they're indexing.
Perfect. So Amy, where can people find you if they want to reach out, get some more information on not only listing optimization, but you actually help with a lot of other things like copywriting. You have a pretty great background with selling e-commerce. So where can people find you and reach out?
Sure. Yeah. My Facebook page is called Amazing at Home. And we also have a Facebook group. So if you visit the page, facebook.com/amazing at home, you'll see the visit group button and you can join us in our group. And then I also have a website that lists kind of all of my services, and you can contact me through the website as well. And that's just amazingathome.com.
Awesome. I love the name, by the way. That's such a cool. I read that first. I was like, that's a great name. I love it. So very cool. Well, Amy, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and break down the changes that happened in October and what wholesalers can do, not only to optimize the listing, but to actually provide more value to their brands.
No problem. Thank you so much again for having me.
Before we leave, I have a huge ask. If you enjoyed this podcast and you got value from it, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. The way we're able to have more impact on more sellers is by getting in front of them. We can do that by having more reviews and getting pushed to the top of iTunes podcast. So leave us a review and let us know what you think of the podcast.